After that, A into U minus V is equal to AU minus AV for all UV belonging to V and for all A belonging to F. AU is equal to 0 if AU is equal to 0, and then good afternoon class. So yesterday we have done definition of vector spaces and then some properties. So what was the definition of vector spaces? Let's recall it quickly. For a non-empty set to be a vector space over a field F, we have to satisfy some of the properties, and these are: first, it should be internally binary operated, then externally binary operation should be defined on the set V over F, and then we should satisfy 8 properties. 4 properties related to vector addition and 4 properties are related to scalar multiplication, right? What were the properties related to vector addition? That it should be associative, it should be commutative, then there should exist an additive identity, and there should exist an additive inverse, right? And what were the 4 properties related to scalar multiplication? 4 properties were: 1 into U should be equal to U only for all U belonging to vector space, not a vector space. We have to prove that this is a vector space. So for all V belonging to the set V. Then second property is V plus U into A should be equal to A into U plus A into V. That is, A should be distributive over addition. Again, third property is A U is equal to A and B and U keeping together. And fourth property was A plus B if operated with B, then B should be distributive over addition and it should be equal to AB plus B. AU plus BU, right? After that, we have seen some of the properties, and I have taken that slide here. What were the properties? The properties were: if V is any vector space over F, then the following results hold. What are the results? That is, A0 is equal to 0 for all A belonging to F. F is a field, and 0 into U is equal to 0 for all U belonging to V. That is, if we multiply scalar of any scalar of field F with identity element of V, then result would be equal to 0 in V. And if we multiply 0 of F, that is additive identity of F, with any element of our vector space V, then also we get a result as 0, and that 0 also belong to vector space, and this is due to the reason that V is externally operated. Then A into minus of U is equal to minus of AU, and minus of A into U, all three are equal. Let me change the pen. You should take white color. Okay. After that, A into U minus V is equal to AU minus AV for all UV belonging to V and for all A belonging to F. AU is equal to 0 if AU is equal to 0, and then either A should be equal to 0 or U should be equal to 0. Again, if AU is equal to BU and it is given that U is non-zero, then what will be the result? If U is non-zero, then A is equal to B. And if AU is equal to AV and it is said that A is not equal to 0, then U must have been equal to V. Next, we will do subspaces. What are the subspaces? Definition: if we have given any vector space V, then generally we use symbol W for subspaces. Then definition is that any non-empty subset W of a vector space Vf is said to form a subspace of V if W in itself a vector space over the same operation on which V was vector space, right? This is the definition. A non-empty subset W of a vector space Vf is said to form a subspace of V if W is also a vector space over F with the same addition and scalar multiplication as for V. These addition and scalar multiplication can be other operations too if they are defined properly. What are the examples of subspaces? Consider W is equal to A, B, C and if V is our this subspace, vector space, not subspace. If V is R3 is equal to vector space, then we have to prove that W is a subspace of V. And what we need to prove for this? We need to prove that W satisfies all the properties of being a vector space. And what were the properties? That W should be non-empty, then it should be, then internal binary operation should be defined on W, external binary operation should be defined on W over F, and then it should satisfy 4 properties of vector addition and 4 properties of scalar multiplication, right? So how would we do this? For this we will go here. What was the set? W, A, B, 0. W is A, B and 0. This kind of set is W where A and B both belongs to R. And we have to prove that W is a vector space of V3R. What is V3R? This is 3-tuple space of real. 3-tuple space of real, any element of 3-tuple space of real looks like A, B, C, where all A, B, C belongs to real. Right. This is any arbitrary element of V3 or R3. Sometimes we also call it or R3. Now, we have to prove that W is a subspace of V3 over field R. Right. For this, we need to prove all these properties which we counted now only. So the property first we need to prove is W. Internal binary operation is defined on W. What is the internal binary operation? That if we take 2 elements of W, then how would any element of W would look like? It should be any 2 tuples here, and third tuple should be equal to 0. So if we take U and V for W of W, then it should, we consider it A1, B1. And then A2, B2. For simplicity, I have taken A1, B1. You can take XY and anything, X1, Y1 or X2, Y2. But there was AB, so I have taken A1, B1, A2, B2. Okay. Now we have to prove that this is that internal binary operation is defined on W. For that, we have taken 2 elements, and these 2 elements, for internal binary operation, their addition should also belongs to V. What will be their addition? Addition is component wise. So A1 plus A2. Second is B1 plus B2. And third is 0 plus 0. So this, now A1 is real number plus A2 is real number, B1, B2 both are real number. Their sum will also be a real number, na? So this would be any element of some W, and hence it belongs to W. That means we have proved that. We write this here. Let U is equal to A1, B1 and 0. V is equal to A2, B2 and 0. Internal binary operation. U plus V, and we have proved that this would be like this: A1 plus A2, B1 plus B2, sorry, this is plus, and 0. Now this belongs to W, hence our first condition is prove. Second, we need to prove that external binary operation, it is also defined. Then how to prove that external binary operation is defined on V over R? For that, we have to take one element from the field and then their multiplication or scalar multiplication should go to W. Consider any element from V3R. Let's A is already taken. Let's take this as X. Then we have to prove that X into U is also an element of W. This we need to prove. So we have taken X from, let X belongs to R, then X into R, X into U. We have X into U would be like X outside, U as A1, B1 and then 0. X would be multiplied inside and it would be like X A1, X B1. Now how does it look like? Third element is 0, first two elements are real number. That means it is also one of the element of W and hence it belongs to W. Hence we have proved that yes, external binary operation is also defined on W over the field R. Next we have to prove the properties related to vector addition. What were these? That first, associativity. Now we know that associativity is not related to the set, it is related to element. That if three elements are taken, then their operation, if we interchange the operation, not operation, but if we interchange the brackets, then these should also belong to, the resultant should be equal. So if we take for associativity, this is how we write associativity. First property, associativity, let's take X, not X, U, V and W, where W will define here only because we will need in future also. A3, B3, 0. But we know that if these three elements belongs to W and W in itself is a subset of V, this is V, then these would belong to O, U, V, W. These are elements of W and this is contained into V. Now then indirectly U, V and W are nothing but elements of V, but V is a vector space, hence we say that since V is vector space, we will write this, since V is a vector space, hence associativity holds and hence in W also associativity holds. Second property, commutative. If we take any two elements, say let U and V belongs to W, then these also belong to V because W is subset of V, V only, then U and V belongs to V. And if U and V belongs to W, that means V, and since V was a vector space, then U plus V would be equal to V plus U, right? So commutativity holds. Third is additive identity. This we need to prove. How would we prove? Since A and B belongs to real number and in set of real we know that 0 belongs to real. So in particular we can take take A and B is equal to 0, and we can clearly see that 0 0 0 is belongs to W. But what if we are not able to see is that there exists 0 0 or not? Then we will do one thing, we will consider some element, say E, and E should look like an element of W. If it belongs to W, then it should be equal to E1, E2 and 0. And what is the property of additive identity? That if we add E to any element of W, that is U plus E, then it would be, then the resultant should be the same element. This is the property of identity. So on the left side we will get A1 plus E1, comma A2 plus E2, and third element is 0, and this should turns out to be U only, and U is A1, A2 and 0. Now we have to compare component wise, because in tuple we compare, how we compare component wise, right? So if A1 plus E1 is equal to A1, then what will be the result? A1 would cancel out and E1 would be equal to 0. This E1 turns out to be 0, and second, if we compare this with this, then we will get E2 is equal to 0. So our identity element which we consider E1, E2 is equal to 0, it turns out to be 0 0, and third element was 0. So this is how we find out identity element, and hence 0 0 0 all the three belongs to R, and this is the identity element, right? Next we need to prove additive inverse. Similarly we will do this thing, additive inverse. Again for additive inverse we will consider that if U is, if U belongs to W, then we say that, then if V belonging to W is inverse of U, then what should happen? Then U plus V should give S additive identity. And what is the additive identity? In last step we have calculated, it is 0 0 0, right? Then U plus V, U was the element, any element A1, B1, comma 0 plus V. Let's consider this is the inverse, and we have taken B, what turns out to A2 and B2. We have to find A2 and B2, right? A2, B2 and 0, and this should be equal to 0 0 0. Now what will this turn out to be? A1 plus A2, next is B1 plus B2, and third element is 0, and this should be equal to identity element of V, W. V and W both have same identity, we will prove this. Now this should be equal to A1 plus A2 is equal to 0, but we have to find out a value of A2 and B2, right? Then we will take A2 on the left side, and A1 would go on to the right side. Thus we got the value of A2. Similarly, if we compare this, then we will get B2 is equal to, what will we get? B1 plus B2 is equal to 0, that means B2 is equal to minus of B1. Hence this is our inverse, and so our inverse turns out to be minus of A1, minus of B1 and 0. And how would we say that this belongs to W? Because if A1 and B1 were the real numbers, then their say 1 and 2 are real numbers, then minus 1 and minus 2 are also real number, na? That's how कि minus a1 and minus b1 also belongs to real, and if this belong to real, this belong to real, and third tuple is 0. This was the definition of W. So this is one of the element of W, and hence it belongs to W. So all the properties of vector additions are satisfied. Now we have, next we need to prove properties related to scalar multiplication, properties of scalar multiplication, right? What were the properties? Anybody would like to repeat? First was 1 into u should be equal to u, right? And one was the multiplicative identity of field F. So 1 would be equal to 1 1 1 only, and 1 u was a1 b1 0, and if 1 would go inside, then it would turn out to be a1 b1 0, but this is the same element u, and we needed to prove this much, this only, right? Is it able, are you able to see this? So okay, I will keep this to this much only, right? This is 0 and this is nothing but u. So we have proved first. Second, we need to prove a b into u, and this should turn out, should be equal to a b u. We need to prove this. So if we write a, then b, and u we have a1 b1 0. This would be a b into a1 comma b into b1 comma 0, right? Then we will multiply a inside, and it would turn out to ab a1 comma ab b1, and this is 0, right? From this ab can be taken outside, so this would be ab. Inside we have a1 b1 and 0. This is nothing but u. So ab u. This we have, we started with this and we reached out to this, then that means these both are equal. Third property, a into u plus v, and we need to prove this should be equal to au plus bv, right? We will start with this, we will reach to that. Then a, for due to the limited space, I will add there only u plus v. Tell me the addition, what will be the resultant? a1 plus a2, right? And then second, b1 plus b2 comma 0. Then we can take a inside, and this would be a1 plus a2 comma ab1 plus ab2, and we can segregate them. A1 and we will take a1 and ab1 at one place, plus second a2 comma ab2 at another place. What will be this? If a is outside, oh, where is 0? Plus 0. No, third element should be 0. So this would be a1 0, and this is 0. A outside, a1 b1 0, plus a outside, a2 b2 0, right? So it is au plus av, au plus av, and this was the thing that we needed. So we have proved au plus av, right? Fourth, we need to prove if we take a plus b into u, and this should be equal to au plus bu. So how to start? We will start from here only, that is a plus b into u, and this would be a and b are elements of real, so it would be like this only, and u would be, is a1 comma b1 and 0. If we take a and b inside, then a plus b, a1, a plus b, b1 and a plus b into 0 is 0. This would be a1 plus ab1, not ab1, ba1, comma ab1 comma plus bb1 and 0. We can separate this, then we will write a1 comma ab1 comma 0 plus second ba1 comma bb1 comma 0. From here we can take a outside, and we'll left with a1, b1 and 0. And from here if we take b out, then what will be there? a1, b1, 0. Then see clearly, what is this? a1, b1, 0. This is nothing but u. So we have proved this is u, and this is also u. That means we have proved the result, na, that it turns out to be au plus bu, and this was the required thing that we needed to prove, au plus bu. Hence it is a vector space. But don't you wonder that in each case we need to check all these properties, and then what is the benefit of having subspace and all these properties? No, we have results, but before results, if we need to prove directly, then is it required to prove all the conditions? No, it is not required, because some conditions are driven from the fact that the elements belong to vector space V only. Because if we consider about associativity, then in associativity is more of the property of elements rather than being any associated with some set. So if 3 elements we are taking from W, then these elements would be automatically from V only, and so we don't need to check associativity. Similarly, we don't need to prove commutative, because we are taking 2 elements, and we have to prove that U plus V should be equal to V plus U. So if U plus V are taking from W, then automatically they would belong to V also, and the commutative, they will be commutative. Third, there is additive identity, and then we need additive inverse, but we need to prove them. And then comes to scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication 1 into U, if it was 1 into U is equal to in field, then it would be 1 into U is equal to U in W also, because U was any element, na, it would turn out to U. Second, if A plus B is equal to U, A plus B into U is equal to AU plus BU in the vector space V, so the result would be same in W also. So 4 properties of vector scalar multiplication would also satisfy. Then we need to prove only 2 properties. What are these 2 properties? That 0 elements belongs to W. What was 0? That means additive identity. We have to prove that this additive identity exists in W, or this belongs to W. Second, we need to prove that for all u belongs to W, minus of u also belongs to W. What is this? Nothing but additive inverse. So if somebody asks you that this is this is a subset of this vector space and you have to prove that this is a subspace or not, then what will you check? Only two things. One is additive identity belongs to that element, that subset, and second is additive inverse belong to that subset. So this is, and these properties have been clubbed together and quite enough results have been proved. Let me give you proof. You already you know these results already, na? A necessary and sufficient condition for these are some results and we will prove these, but these are not important. Proof of these are not asked in the exam directly, but these results will give you a nudge ki how to solve the proof of vector and linear algebra, and this will be helpful as in modern algebra also, because then you will learn how to write in mathematics. We will prove these things. So, a necessary and sufficient condition for a non-empty subset W of a vector space Vf to be a subspace of V is that what necessary and sufficient. Okay, that means it is both sided. That subspace of V is that W is closed under addition and scalar multiplication. First, tell me what does this statement means. What we need to prove in necessary conditions, necessary and sufficient condition, we have to take one condition as given and then we have to prove another condition from the given, right? In this case, one side we have given that V is a vector, W is a vector space, W is a subspace of V, and on the second side it is said that W is closed under addition and scalar multiplication. So, in necessary condition I would take necessary I would take that W is a vector space, W is a vector subspace, this is subspace of V. Need to prove, what is required to prove? That W is closed under addition and scalar multiplication. We will prove second part this side, addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, check the spellings. W is closed under addition and scalar multiplication. What does that mean? Closed under addition. Closed under addition means if we are taking any two elements of W and adding them together, then the result of these two elements should belongs to W, and these two elements are arbitrary elements. So, we can take any two elements. In case of in this case we will take U and V. Let U and V belongs to W, and what we need to prove? V plus U should belongs to W. You can also write U plus V. So, two elements of W are two elements of vector space in itself, right? Two elements of V. Now, U and V belongs to W, and W is a subs multiplication. What was it? Okay. Let U and V belongs to W, but we have given that W is a vector space. If it is a vector space, then it would be, then internal binary operation must be defined on this, right? It would be defined now, because these were two basics. Internal binary operation should be defined on W, and external binary operation should also be defined on W over the field, given field, and in this case there is no field. So, field, yeah, there is F and this is the field. So W is a vector space and it would be by the law of internal binary operation, U plus V would belongs to W. And what is this? Nothing but closed under addition. Hence HENCE. Hence W is closed under addition. Let me write +1. Second, this was the first condition. Second, we need to prove W is closed under scalar multiplication also. How would we prove? We have nothing to do. What is scalar multiplication? Scalars are taken from the field, right? I have told in the first lecture only कि all the elements of field are known as scalars and we call all the elements of vector space as vectors. So scalar multiplication means it has something to do with the element of field. So if we take any, so property of scalar multiplication says that if we take any A belongs to F and any U belongs to W, then their scalar multiplication AU should belongs to W. What is this? See, what is this? Nothing but this is, can't you remember this is the same thing that we have done when we were proving that external binary operation is defined, right? In external binary operation also we used to take one element from the field and another element from the given set and then their product should go to that set. In this case W is a vector space, so external binary operation would be defined, and if external binary operation is defined then this property would help, and if it helps then we can say that scalar multiplication. So we have proved that it is closed under scalar multiplication also. So we have proved the necessary condition that we have taken W is a subspace of V and we have proved that it is closed under scalar multiplication and vector addition. Second, we will take another side. What is another side? And we will write as sufficient condition. In sufficient condition, we would be provided that W is closed under addition and it is closed under scalar multiplication. But in mathematics, we can't use these statements as it is. We need mathematical information of this to prove our result that second we have to prove that it is a vector space. So we'll write it mathematically. How we'll write it mathematically? If W is closed under addition, that means for all U and V belonging to W, U plus V would also belong to W, right? This is the mathematical formulation of that W is closed under addition. And second part, we have given that W is closed under scalar multiplication also. What does that mean? That means for each A belongs to F and U belong to W, A into U would also belong to W. Now we have to prove that W is a vector space or vector subspace of V. In last examples, we have shown that to prove that W is a vector subspace, we have to prove that following 8 properties, and 2 including internal binary operation and external binary operation. Thus in total we need to prove 10 properties. But really we need to prove 10 properties? No. We need to prove only 2 properties, that additive inverse should be there, additive identity should be there. How would we prove that thing? Using this. Now we have to prove this, that this is closed under vector addition. What we have? We have a field F, we have a vector space. No, we don't have a vector space subspace W because we have to prove it. But we have 2 conditions. If we have field, then in field nothing but there would be multiplicative identity, right? And multiplicative identity 1 belongs to f. If 1 belongs to f, then minus of 1 also belongs to f, na? Because f is field and every non-zero element of a field have its additive as well as multiplicative inverse. So minus 1 would also belongs to f. Now we can use this. Where should we use this? We will use this in our second result. Minus 1 is element of f and a is also an element of f. Then in particular we can take a is equal to minus of 1, right? If we take a is equal to minus 1, then minus 1 into u, this would belongs to w. What is this? Nothing but minus of u. Now u was any element of w, and we have proved that minus of u belongs to w. What is this? This is any element, this is inverse of this. Hence we have proved that additive inverse exists, right? Second, we need to prove additive identity. Tell me, how would you prove additive identity? You have two things. Third, you have field. In these two things, you have u plus v belongs to w and you have minus u also belonging to w. In particular for v, we can take minus of u, right? We can take now, because v was any element of u, w, and if we take v is equal to minus of u. We cannot prove this earlier because we don't have u. At that time we didn't have minus of u. But now we have proved that additive inverse exists. Now if we have proved that, then we in particular we have taken v is equal to minus of u. And now we will put this in that. Then u plus minus of u. And what does this means? It is closed under vector addition, so it would belongs to w, right? What is this? An element plus inverse of that element, and it would give us 0, right? And hence we have proved that additive identity belongs to that element. Other 8 conditions can be also satisfied. How would you satisfy? That associativity, take 3 elements of w, then these would be element of vector space V. And if they are associative in vector space V, then they will be associative in vector space W also. And if they are commutative there, then they would be commutative in W. Then 4 properties of vector scalar multiplication, 1 into u should be equal to u. Then these 4 properties would help. Thus we have written the proof of this. And this is how you have to write in examination if they are asking you to write any proof. In mathematics also, how you write and how you present, it matters. So you have to write in such a way that yes, it is a mathematical proof. We didn't address 3-4 examples. We just completed this only. Now we will prove that this is a vector subspace, this is a vector space. No, this is not vector space, subspace. These are trivial subspaces. What are trivial subspaces? Subspace is what? If any subset of a vector space V satisfies all the properties of being a vector space with the same operation, then we call that this is a vector subspace of the given vector space. But there are 2 trivial subspaces. These always exist. One is the set itself. Since V is contained into itself, it may be equal to, but it is contained into V. And another thing, if it is a vector space or subspace, then additive identity would always belong to the set. So 0 would always belong to set. And if 0 is singleton set, it is also known as a trivial vector subspace of V. These 2 subspaces are known as trivial vector subspaces. Now we will prove that W1 is a subspace of R3. W1 is, we have proved first now. First we have proved. In second we would take 0, 0, 0. So then we will follow the proof and we will get the same result. But what we will prove that W1, second thing we will prove, that is a subspace of R3 as well as it is an subspace of example 1. We have to prove that this is a subspace of this. Now we will prove. And to prove something, we know that if we prove it is closed under vector addition and scalar multiplication. This was the last result. Okay, don't go to the results. We know that we don't need to prove all the properties. We need to prove only two properties. W is W1. This is A 0 0, where A belongs to R. And what is W? W in this case is A1 B1, not A1, A B 0, where A B belongs to real. In last we have proved that it is a subspace of R3, that means it is a subspace. It is a vector space also. So we can take W as a vector space over R, and sometimes we call it R3 because this is 3 tuple elements. And W1 is this, and we have to prove that. To prove W1 is a subspace of W. What does we need to prove? We need to prove only two properties. One, there should be additive inverse and there should be additive identity. How will you prove that there is additive identity? Let's consider there exists additive identity. Let's consider if it belongs to W1, then it should look like any element of W1, and for simplicity we will take E1 0 0. Now what is the property of identity? But we need to find out E1 na, and I have told you how to find out E1. We'll take any element, say U, it would be A1 0 0, and U plus E should be equal to U. That means U plus E. What is this? A1 plus E1, comma 0 plus 0, and next is also 0 plus 0, and it should turn out to be U only. Then A1 0 0. By comparing both sides, we get A1 plus E1 is equal to A1. That means E1 is equal to 0, and second two elements are already 0, so we get identity 0 0 0. We got this, but we need to prove that this belongs to W. How would you prove that this element belongs to W? What is the condition of belonging to W? That last two tuple elements should be equal to 0, and first element, whatever it is, it should be in R. So last two are in R 0 0, and first A belongs to R, but R 0 also belongs to R, na? So 0 belongs to R, and hence it belongs to W. So we have proved that additive inverse exists, right? Good. Next we need to prove that multiplicative inverse also exists. No, we don't need to prove multiplicative inverse. We have to prove additive. We had proved additive identity exists, and we have to prove additive inverse. Additive inverse we need to find out. For this we will take any arbitrary element. Say if it exists, then it should be, say V. If U is element is equal to A1 0 0, and I'll consider that V is equal to A2 0 0 is additive inverse. We will consider this, and we will find out what V turns out to be. For if it is additive inverse, then what should help? Then U plus V. should be equal to identity only, right? And we have find out our identity already. So u is a1 plus v is a2. Next two tuples would be 0 0 and it is equal to identity, that is 0 0 0. Now a1 plus a2, this is equal to 0, but we need to find out value of a2. So it is a2 is equal to minus of a1, right? So our what is our inverse? It turns out to be minus of a1 0 0, right? Now we will prove that this belongs to W, because we need to prove that this element belongs to W. a1 was any element of real number, so minus of a1 would also be an element of a1, a real number, and hence it satisfies to be an element of W1, and this belongs to W1. So we have proved that yes, all the properties of this are satisfied, and hence it is a subspace of W. It is, but we didn't prove that it is a subspace. It is a subset, but it is clearly seen that in W, A, B, 0, B was any R, and this is an particular case of this. So it is an element of this. Next example was each line in real number space, this n should be here, real field of n tuple that passes through 0 is a subspace of Rn. Okay, we have to prove that any line in n tuple space. Okay, we have 3 tuple plane, and that's how we have any element of n tuple looks like a1, a2 up to an, right? So if each line which passes through 0 is a subspace of Rn, how will you prove? What is the definition? What is the equation of a line? Y is equal to mx plus c, and we are saying that it belongs to Rn. That means y is n tuple, x is n tuple, these are scalar, right? This is the condition, and we have to prove that this is a subspace. How would you prove? So Rw is nothing but xy such that mx y is equal to mx plus c. What would be the value of c in this case? Anyone? If a line passes through 0, then we know that this value of c turns out to be 0, and this condition should be satisfied, right? Now, how would you prove that this is a subspace? To prove subspace, we don't need to prove all the properties, right? We need to prove that additive inverse exists there, additive identity exists there. So how would you prove that additive inverse exists there? For proving additive inverse, in particular, let u be any element of W, and u and W would look like, let me take this to the white plane. We'll go to next one. Do we have? Yeah, we have. W is nothing but xy such that y is equal to mx, right? It is passing through the origin or 0. Now any two elements, say u of this would be x1 y1. For simplicity, I am taking x1 y1. Sometimes I take a1 b1. We consider these elements according to the set only, and for the we can consider x2 y2, right? And now we have to prove that additive inverse exists and additive identity exists. To prove this, if we have to prove additive identity exists, then we have to prove, we will consider E is equal to E1 comma E2. is additive identity. First, if we are saying that u belongs to this and v belongs to this, that means this element satisfies this condition, that is y1 is equal to mx1 and y2 is equal to mx2, right? Now we have to prove that E1 is an additive identity and it belongs to that. But if it is additive identity, then u plus e should be equal to e only. What is u plus e? U is x1 comma y1 e plus e, e1 2. This should be equal to u. U is x1 comma y1. Now we will add this x1 plus e1 and second is y1 plus e2. This should be equal to x1 comma y1. If this is equal to this, then e1 turns out to 0 and similarly e2 turns out to be 0. So our identity element turns out to be 0, 0. And how would we prove that this e belongs to that element? We have nothing to do. This is x, this is y. If we take a 0 at left side, it would be 0 only, and at right side m into 0. 0 is equal to 0, which is true. That means e also satisfied that condition, and hence e is our additive identity, and it is equal to e is equal to nothing but 0, 0. Next we need to prove that additive inverse exists. How would we prove additive inverse? Similar, like the same last examples, we will consider that u is any element and this is this, and if v is its additive inverse, then u plus v should give us identity. So u was x1 comma y1 plus v was x2 comma y2, and this should be equal to identity. What is identity? 0, 0. That this means x1 plus x1 plus x2 comma y1 plus y2. This should be equal to 0, 0, right? If this is equal to 0, but we need to find out what is x2 and y2 in real. Then x2 turns out to be minus of x1 and y2 turns out to be minus of y1. So we got v is equal to minus of x1 minus of y1. But our job doesn't end here, because we still need to prove that v belongs to w, and for belonging to w, what should be done? This v should satisfy that equation, and that equation is y is equal to, at the place of y we should have minus of y1, and this is equal to m into minus of x1 minus of y1. And on the first slide we have proved the properties a into minus of u is equal to minus of au. So this would be turned, minus would be outside and it would be m of x1, and minus minus 1 cancel, y1 is equal to m x1. Hence x1 and y1 satisfies our condition. That means this y qualifies to be an element of w, and hence we can say that in w we have additive inverse for every element, right? So we have proved that additive inverse also exists, and these were two things that we needed to prove. So this is the proof of this example, right? Next we have another result. Earlier we have proved that we can prove two conditions to prove a subspace. Then we proved that it should be, if it is a vector subspace, then it should be closed under vector addition and scalar multiplication, right? Second result, sometime we prove that this, if a non-empty subset W of a vector space is a subspace of V, that means if W is a subspace of V, then it would satisfy that condition, that AU plus V should belongs to W for all U and V belonging to W, and A should come from our field F. And second condition, it is here also if and only if, that means it is necessary and sufficient condition. First we will prove that this is a subset, and we will assume that this is a subset, and we will prove that AU plus V belongs to W. Second, we will consider that this equation belongs to W, and we have to prove through this equation that yes, W is a vector space. So necessary condition. We would prove this. For this, we have that what is given. Given W is a subspace, vector subspace, or simply subspace is also okay. Subspace of V. Need to prove. What we need to prove? AU plus V should belongs to W for all U comma V belonging to W, and for each A belonging to F, right? Here we will prove second part on this side. Sorry. Now to prove first condition. What is this? Haven't you seen this? If we take any element, say U of W, but what is W? W is vector subspace, na? If it is vector space, then it is a vector space in itself, and that means external binary operation is defined on W or the field F. Now A is any element of the field F. It is being said that A belongs to F. So A into U would also belongs to W, right? Because of external binary operation is defined in W or F. Complete this. Now this belongs to W, but we need to prove that this plus U. Now this belongs to W, that means it is some element of W, and V is also some element of W because V belongs to W. Then their addition. Then addition should also belongs to W. Why? Internal binary operation is defined on W. So AU plus V. This belongs to W. This was the thing that we needed to prove. Hence, we have proved the first part. Second part, sufficient condition. एक minute. Sufficient condition. For the sufficient condition, we have to prove that we have given AU plus V. This belongs to W for all U, V belonging to W, and we need to prove that W is a vector subspace. Right? We have to prove this. But we know that if AU plus, we need to prove two properties only. 0 belongs to this, and then additive inverse belongs to this. But we know that U and V are two elements of W. In particular, we can take U is equal to V, right? And if we take A is equal to -1, then what will this give? -1 into U plus U. This is equal to 0, and hence it belongs to W. Next, we prove that additive inverse exists there. Now, if we take A is equal to -1, U as it is, and V is equal to 0. Why we have taken 0? Because 0 belongs to W. So this equation would give us -1 into U plus 0, and this would belongs to W. That means minus of U belong to W, and hence proved. Thank you.